creating a family-friendly business culture. This is going to be good because this is one that's near and dear to my heart.
Yeah.
And because I think culture within a business is so important.
Yeah.
And I mean, used to 30, 40 years ago, the business culture was you go and clock in and nobody really cares. You do your job, clock out, and you go home.
Yeah.
And that's just not the way the world is now. So let's talk about this.
Yeah.
What does a family-friendly culture look like?
Well, to me, I think coming into the office, you wanting to come to work is one of those things. You're excited about coming into work. You walk into the office. I mean, I love walking into our office and hearing all the laughter while they're busy. It's one thing to come into the office and everybody's goofing off and not getting their work done, but everybody wants to get their jobs done and they're having a good time with each other. You hear music in the room where the telephones are and they're just cracking up in between phone calls and joking around, or even these moments where you walk in and somebody's having a tough day and they just need to talk and the team just gets together and they're just like, let's help. You know, this is the culture that I love because it feels like family. It feels like these are our people and they care about each other and they go overboard to help each other out as much as they possibly can when they're within the four walls of the studio.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what's so awesome about our culture here, and it's something that we have worked really hard on.
Yeah.
Because back when it was just family, it was easy. Your family in here and your family outside the walls here.
Right.
But when you have employees that are not blood-related family, it's a little different because, and this happened to us, we built a culture that was so tight that there's some just thought it was okay to, oh, you know what, it's all right if I don't do anything today.
Yep.
It's okay. And no, it's not okay.
It's not okay, yeah. I mean, I think building the proper culture where you enjoy coming to work, you're also passionate about the results of your work too. You want to see the business thrive and be successful, and the only way to do that is to do your part. That it's kind of like if you cut off your hand, your body doesn't function as well. So it's one of those things that if the culture is right and you love where you work, you're going to do your best to do your job at its optimum. So not taking advantage of the situation is one of those things that isn't a proper, to me, family culture in a business. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
Well, you know, one thing that we made this mistake is a family-friendly culture is one thing, and treating everyone like family is another thing.
Yep, and that was a hard lesson.
Yes, that was a very hard lesson because you can't treat your employees like family.
You can't blur those lines.
You have to treat them like team members.
Yep.
Because there's one big thing. Family, if someone all of a sudden is not doing their job, it's kind of hard to fire family. But when someone is on a team and someone is not being a part of the team, then
it should be a different conversation when it comes to that, you know. And in the past, it's been very blurred and it's become an emotional wreck. And that's something that we have been working on consistently to make sure that doesn't happen. But within the walls of the studio, we want them to feel a part of our team. We want them to come to us when there's difficult times. We want them to come to us when everybody's happy and things like that. So I think it helps to open up conversations and build relationships that makes our team that much stronger. And our clients end up seeing it too. They feel it. I mean, when they walk into our studio, they feel the vibe that we have. They automatically become relaxed. And everybody, when that culture is going strong, everybody's moving and grooving in the same fashion, and it just becomes easy.
Yes, it does, because everything's moving in the same direction at the same time and at the same pace. And that's one thing that I heard this several years ago. Absolutely love it. And it's what I've based a lot of our culture on. We are a we.
Yep.
And when you are a part of the team, you're a we.
Yeah.
But if you're on the team and you start being a you
Yeah.
or an I, and you start doing you things that does not coordinate with the team, that's going to be a hard conversation.
Yeah.
So we always want to be a we.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that we've done and kind of put into place that's helping us work toward that family culture?
Yeah, that's great. For example, in a few days, we are having, once a month, we have a potluck. If you remember those potlucks from years ago from church, everybody bring a dish and get together. We do that once a month. We bring something, we break bread together.
Well, and I think it creates a culture of, it's not just the studio that's buying the meal all the time, or it's not just, I think it helps to, everybody's doing it, everybody's pitching in, everybody's creating a meal. We can see everybody's talents when it comes to that. I mean, some people hates cooking, and that's fine, but they can bring something from the store and we see what their favorites are. Or if we have a theme, we see what their favorites are or how they cook and things like that. I just think it gets everybody on the same page. And also, we get to see their likes. And when we get together for these lunches, we laugh and joke around. We don't talk about business unless we want to. So I just think it's that friendship.
Yes. And so...
And it builds trust.
Yeah, absolutely it builds trust. And that's a big part of culture is trust. Because if you don't have trust, it diminishes the culture. And it will very quickly destroy a culture if there's not trust, or if there's just, even if there's one team member that there's a trust issue.
It causes tension.
It causes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And, something else that we do is, we have the meals, but also once a quarter, we do a strategic planning for that quarter. We get together and we go over what we call the 4 helpfuls. What are the 4 helpfuls? What's working, what's not working, what's missing, and what's broken. When we look at those 4 things as a team, we know what we need to work on within the studio here, and everyone's a part of that. So those are 2 things that we've talked about. What's a third? What is something that you see?
I think we celebrate the little things, which creates celebrations in the big things. And it doesn't mean that celebrating doesn't have to mean monetary all the time, okay? I think celebrating is looking at somebody's strength that week and we go, yay! We set weekly goals. And I want to be more consistent with this, right? Yeah. With our team, because I think it creates excitement with them. If we have an amazing week where our bookers schedule over and beyond their goal, we celebrate. If they've reached their goal, we celebrate and we cheer for each other. If somebody has a great interaction with a client and somebody notices it, that's something that we want to celebrate with them, and it just builds strength within the team. There again, I go back to that we become a we instead of an I. And yes, that person may have won in that situation, but we all get to win. We all want to be a part of that. We win together, we lose together. And even in the not so great moments, every business has it. Every business has crappy moments, and we all go through it together. And these are the moments when you have a strong team that you build each other up in those crappy moments.
Yes. And, it's so interesting. We've been talking about business this whole time, but when I look at our family,
we do the same thing.
We do the same thing. I mean, what is the culture like in our home? Everyone thinks culture is business. It's not. Culture is home.
Yep.
Also, we have a culture in our house. One of the things that we do in our home with our kids is, right now they're teenagers, so life is crazy. We're going here, going there, but part of our culture is at least 2 to 3 times a week, especially Sunday after church, we're going to put our feet under the same table preferably our dining room table at our home, and have a meal.
Yep.
And that's part of our culture. That's part of what we've always built.
Yep, it's non-negotiable. It's
Yeah.
one of those things that, especially this year with our goals, is we've made it non-negotiable. We have to have those moments at the dinner table, because that's when, to me, and what I've seen with our kids, true conversations come out. That's where we become stronger, because cell phones aren't allowed at the table. I've talked about this in the past, but my favorite time is I get to hear their stories. And they get to hear our stories of what happened that week or what's important to us. I mean, sometimes they're serious conversations, sometimes they're not.
Right. And, and with that being said, just with culture, just like we talked about here at the studio, here at home, it is about celebrating the little wins. Mm-hmm. We all celebrate the wins together at home. And they don't have to be big wins, they can be small wins. So, I mean, do you have any thoughts on that, or do you have any thoughts on our culture at home?
Well, I just think creating that comfortable culture at home makes us stronger, because it makes you want to go home. That's our safe zone. And I feel like that's it for our kids, too. When they've had a tough day and they need a timeout, they want to come home. They want to hang out with us, and that makes me feel good. It really does, because as they get older, as your kids get older, they want to do things with their friends, their girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever, and they don't want to hang out with you as much. And I've seen lots of families where when their kids get older and they get that freedom, they never see their kids much of any time. But I want to build a culture where my kids feel safe at home, and they always want to come to us. They want to have those moments where they want to talk to us, and it's a safe zone. I don't care if my 15-year-old crawls in the bed in between the two of us and he just wants to talk when we're dead tired and we want to go to sleep. But this is something that he feels comfortable in, and I'm like, dude, you're 15. What are you doing? He's like, I don't care. I just want to hang out. And in the end, I love that. I love that he feels comfortable enough to do that with us.
Well, the thing is, when our kids get to the point that they have spouses, I want them to have that same culture in their home, and I want them to bring that culture back in our house. Mm-hmm. I want them to, when in-laws, and it's kind of weird, I mean, our kids are 15 and 13, but in 10 to 12 years, they could be married.
Yep.
And at that point, we still want to have that culture of where their spouses, when they come in our home, it feels like home to them. And I feel like that's so important.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So
it goes both ways.
Yeah.
There again, it's that mesh between our home life and our work life. We want all of it to feel like home. So to me, it just makes us stronger.
Yeah, absolutely.
In our relationships.
And I think the biggest takeaway is the culture at home and the culture in the studio here is, yes, you're an individual, you have individual thoughts and ideas, and we listen to those. But at the end of the day, we are we's.
Yep.
And we will incorporate your ideas and your thoughts, and we listen to each other. And I feel like that is so important on being a we.
Yeah, so I agree.
Another good conversation.
Yep.